Welcome, welcome, welcome to our lovely late HP show with your 5D Mystic Enlightenment Functional Adult. So today we begin with why Enlightenment. One, because you'll know when you get to this lovely soul age group, and I did know, and I had heard a lot about it as I was growing up, and I didn't think of it as something from above or below because I began life with Jesus and God, and today I'm beyond spirituality and religious stuff, and I love dark matter and dark energy and really embody all of what I learned as a child growing up into the same stuff. Data and sciences don't exclude the stories that were explaining a lot about how life works and begins, and here's where the 5D mystic part, though, I should talk about that, because 5D is a state of consciousness for those who have integration of the brain. It means that you use, and I'm trying to keep my microphone away from my lovely shirt because it keeps on making noise, but you use your left and right mode. So the left is the chit chatter, the right is where all that is from our lovely feminine, our body comes up. So if you have a good relationship with all of those 6 basic emotions, and so you had a whole 3-year-old heart upbringing, that means the first 3 years of your life, your implicit memory is pretty good. Yes? Okay, cool. So if you're giggly and happy, you don't have a trust break with humanity, so you know any person has infinite higher human consciousness potential, then you are going to be here in 5D land. You don't have karmics, you don't have a divine waiting for you somewhere. You can have uncovered and be in, of course, relationships with your twin flame or flames, and they're not more special than any other person on the face of this planet because a 5D mystic doesn't need to be awakened to their spirituality purpose, because your spirituality purpose is, lo and behold, being yourself. And on that note, let me get some of our lovely cards before we begin, because it's going to be a mix. So when you are the alchemist of you, because you're actually your own guru, not for pretend. And, let me finish first. So integration of the brain. This is important. 3-year-old whole heart means you have no shame. Raise your hand. I raise my hand. You can't yell in my face and make me feel like I should be poo-pooed out of living life. In fact, I'm a valued member in my own right of society, independently from what you may think or others. Now, that's one of the reasons why authoritarians or anyone who's ever spoken to me, people in power play on people's emotions. You know, when they use the generalizations, our emotions, it's like, no, they don't play on everybody's emotions. Because some of us, we don't let authoritarians, manipulators, or anyone on a camera be like, let me tell you how to live life. I didn't want anyone to tell me how to live life. And luckily for me, I got held with equanimity. And I got a 3rd of attunement, and I got repaired, ruptured. I had the ideal parenting style. It's called authoritative, not authoritarian, and not permissive. And I did not have a traumatizing attachment. Nope, no abuse, no neglect, no physical abuse, no emotional abuse, no parent who didn't pay attention to me. I also didn't have a parent who would yell at me because I was yelling, so I had what is called a child-centric environment. I will give anyone my childhood, but I would also give them my embodied nervous system and brain, because I know that my own drive, my dominant one, yeah, that one's pretty clear to me. I know also my dominant nervous system responds to anything and everyone. Just ask my lovely mother and twin. They will tell you all about my lovely, yes, I have a plaque in my room. It's called Bossy, just saying. So I'm okay with being flawed and imperfect. Here's a whole 3-year-old heart, no shame. I have value, even if I'm not the smartest kid on the block, but I'm definitely smarter than other kids on the block because I know what inner and outer well-being means, and I know how to maintain it. No drinking too much, no fucking too much, no drugging at all, not interested, and the food in moderation, and that's because of a lot of things, but really anything that you do, if you're an inner adult and an outer adult, and that means you have integration of the brain, so you have a nervous system that navigates your soothe system. It's called your ventral vagal nervous system. It's called your mammalian heritage in your higher social functioning areas, your social engagement system. A lot of words that you're like, what is she talking about? If you don't know any of it, basically, if you look into good attachment and trauma informed, good means they're updated. not ancient silverbacks. So they're not using biblical text to explain to you attachment, wounds, please, please. Anyone who's using biblical text, put them to the side and go listen to the people, Bezel van der Kolk, Stephen Porges, Gabor Mate, let's see, Daniel Siegel, Janina Fisher, Terry Real, Peter Levine, did I mention him? Diane Heller, Patrick Tiahan is a great childhood trauma survivor, healed and healing, and he has a community on YouTube. Go follow him. He shares great childhood trauma survivor advice and how to get out of projection and how hurt people who hurt people, they don't really have excuses. There's good information online. So yes, the whole bleeding around, but the 4D mystics don't have good excuses for talking about karmics and divine counterparts and people to cancel from your life either. They're all teenagers. So adaptive children with an inner child, they don't look to harmony because they haven't healed. They're still looking to get all those bystanders to point a finger at someone, because that's what it's called when you have a trust break and it's still trauma that's unresolved. You're going to say, I want to go and point finger and shame, blame, fault, and get into the whole, we're the superheroes, you're the supervillains, and we're rescuing people. Anyone who uses the word, what is it, martyr, or there's another word, that people like to, saviors. Yes, the people who think they're saviors. It's called spiritual bypass, and it's not because they did yoga. It has nothing to do with yoga. Yoga is not a cult unless you have low self-esteem and are also an adaptive child. Yes, low self-esteem, it means indirect communication. It also means you make extreme assumptions and overgeneralizations. If you have healthy self-esteem, it means you stay here, and I have a subjective opinion. So do you. It's an adult. My words mean nothing. If you're an adult, you'll know that. If you're not, then you might be with implicit stuff coming up, which is called ego-sensitive. I don't have anything to have to do with your nervous system. It's all yours. Your inner child, you can handle it unless you want cognitive dissonance to rule you, or your implicit bias, or basically your 3-year-old without the adult in the room. I mean, I can have my adult in the room and my 3-year-old. I just had a lovely little intervention just before. It's funny. When you meet emotionally immature people, but it's people from your oversoul. That's why a playground is only when there's personality. No, it's personal. When it's personal. So when it's personal, that's how you learn to be the spirituality process of you. Here's 5D Mystic again. I love being able to share. So Sadhguru, let me get into that. First of all, so the people who are instead allowing people to play with their emotions, like authoritarians or anyone online, it's all people who they could use a good therapist and more. Basically, they could use the word smart with stable, mature, adaptive, rational, and teachable, understand how to handle the 3-year-old and know about implicit memory and bias, and to be able to say, wow, I can have likes and dislikes and just handle them right here and not use them and say, oh, let me throw them at someone and say, oh, I don't like that person. They're horrible. Let me just start spitting out words from my mouth and think they matter some. That's the societal soul age group people. I forgot enlightenment. No, I said it already. Yes, so enlightenment soul age group people. We believe in ourselves just the way we are with our flaws and imperfections. We don't need healthy boundaries because we already know them. It's, I'm a human, you're human too, and as long as I have no weapon and you don't, I don't need to call the cops and, well, you can tell me you don't like me, I'll leave. I'll clear out the room just like I will clear out the clutter in my own body because my foundation is a secure attachment one. For those who want a foundation that involves inner well-being, there's good childhood trauma experts, or there's also the ability to take ownership of your soothe system. It's called your nervous system. It all depends on where you're at with turning knowledge into wisdom. So that means, can you think on your feet, or does your implicit 3-year-old rule you? There's always something to learn, and one of those things that we get to learn about on IHP is how the infinite higher human consciousness potential is accessible by all, but only if that 0-1-year-old gets to that 3-year-old with a teenager in the room who understands that our humanity is our mammalian heritage. So integration of the brain, left and right brain mode with the stuff that comes up. It's easy for securely attached people. It's challenging for those who have attachment wounds. It's even more challenging for those who have childhood trauma. And for us to heal trauma means to have more grown-ups. And so functional adults with secure attachment, 5D mystics, or just 5D functional adults are people who unconditionally love like Jesus and a lot more people. It's not about religion or spirituality. It's not about going against anything. It's actually the sciences, the good data sciences people that bring us together because we are one and mammals, and we enjoy each other if we love.